Signs of the fawn response to trauma in individuals and organizations. All people experience trauma. When trauma remains unprocessed and unintegrated, four behavioral coping patterns emerge: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. These behaviors are designed to eliminate the threat of being hurt once again. These coping strategies are not supposed to become lifelong patterns. They are temporary, ideally. However, they can often become normalized and the hurt pain of the trauma repressed. It can be very challenging to get at root traumas once they are not in conscious memory. Sometimes we only know a trauma occurred by the fruit that manifests in a person's life. The fawn behavioral response pattern is one such fruit. When a person determines in their heart or spirit to not be hurt again and believe the best way to minimize potential hurt is to ensure they do not give a reason to anyone to hurt them, the fawn behavior is born. It is people-pleasing in the extreme. The best way to understand fawn is to replace it with the word cower. They cower before others out of deep fear. The person does everything they can to keep the peace at all costs, even to the point of sacrificing themselves in many areas. This often leads to deeply held anger and even rage as the person cannot express their own wishes and desires. Resentment builds. The person who fawns performs for others in almost every situation and cannot be themselves. Often a person with a fawn behavioral pattern says yes, but their heart isn't in it. Organizations as well may experience fawn behavioral patterns in employees, leaders, work groups, and even across the entire breadth of the organization. When work groups experience significant trauma, especially when the source of the trauma is managerial leadership, many employees learn the best thing they can do is keep their head down and sit down and shut up. This fear response leads to employees who check out of anything the organizational and leadership is attempting to do. Employees with fawn patterns may also demonstrate significant passive-aggressive tendencies with their words and behaviors. This is one of the most dangerous aspects to fawn, as these traumatized employees can spread their negativity to others through gossip, slander, undermining authority, and even outright rebellion. Another dangerous fawn pattern I've observed is where the CEO or president of an organization lives in mortal fear of the board of directors. The person cowers before them, dreaming of peace and acceptance, dreading any and all conflicts, doing everything they can to please each member of the board. They learn to say the words the board wants to hear, whether it's truth or not. I've seen top organizational leaders present exaggerated financial reports, doctored organizational culture surveys, and demonstrate extreme anger on subordinates as they take out their feelings of helplessness and fear of hurt from the board on safe others, using their held power and authority very inappropriately. Some organizations develop an identity found in fawn. These are organizations who have difficulty in adequately identifying their vision, mission, and values and change them frequently as a means to please stakeholders or the public. Fear becomes their identity and people-pleasing their only real value. A fawn response to trauma appears viable as a strategy for individuals and organizations to manage the trauma. However, it is dangerous and leads to many problematic dynamics. Fawn or cowering behavior does not prevent a person or organization from harm. On the contrary, it often results in further pain, suffering, and trauma as movement towards adequate preparation and timely responsiveness is often compromised. If a fawn, a baby deer, cowers before a predator, a potential hurt, when they really need to fight with all their might or flee, what occurs? They get killed and eaten easily. The same thing occurs with people and organizations. The presence of fawn behavioral patterns reveals the presence of unresolved trauma. It is not healthy and needs to be addressed.